Hi everyone, welcome to Cancer Healing Journey Talks. Myself Sonali Modi from Community Outreach Team of ZenOnco.io and Love Heals Cancer. We guide cancer patients on adopting an integrative oncology treatment approach. We help patients with our team of oncologists, lab experts, nutritionists, and other healthcare professionals so that we can improve the treatment outcome for patients. We also help in connecting patients with other cancer warriors to address their queries, and we also share inspirational journeys to motivate cancer warriors who are going through this journey currently. So firstly, I would like to introduce you to today's speaker, Ms. Gloria Nelson. She is a cancer warrior. I'm happy that you are here with us today to share your story. So over to you, Gloria. Please start with the introduction.
Hello, my name's Gloria Nelson. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2018. Even though I was in my 50s, it was still a big shock. I had been feeling ill for quite a while, quite a few years before that, actually. And, you know, I was just getting no conclusive outcomes. My blood tests were all coming back positive, you know, kind of negative for anything. So we were just in a bit of a quandary. And then I felt a lump. I was seen very, very quickly because of my age. So I was taken very seriously. And I think that was because of my age. And I was diagnosed within 4 weeks.
So what made you go for the diagnosis and what were the initial symptoms?
Okay, so my initial symptoms that I'd had for quite a while were joint pain, tiredness, so fatigue, and even when I'd been to sleep, I was still very tired the next day. Lots of sweating. So again, for someone my age, my symptoms were very, very similar to menopause symptoms. So I had been treated for menopause and I had been on medication for a couple of years. So it was just very strange that all of a sudden I was getting these symptoms again. But what made me get my diagnosis was I started to get shoulder pain across the top of my shoulder and my back. And one morning I got up and I went to feel my back, and as I pulled my arm forward, I felt a lump. So once I felt this lump, I phoned the doctor straight away. I mean, the doctors weren't open. I found it very early in the morning. So as soon as they were, I called them up. I managed to get an appointment that same day. Again, I was thinking possibly this is nothing sinister, but as soon as the doctor felt it, she said, yes, there is definitely a lump there. We need to get this sorted.
Yeah. So like how this news was shared to you and how your family reacted to this news?
Okay, so I had an appointment with my oncologist. So I found the lump in September 2018. I was diagnosed on the 8th of October 2018, and I had an appointment with my oncologist. Because I live on my own, I was a single mother when I was diagnosed. My daughter was 15, so I had been going to all of the appointments myself up to this point before my diagnosis. Sorry, just going back a little bit. I had to go in for a mammogram, a biopsy, lots of different tests that they could actually then give me my diagnosis. So on the 8th of October, I went in to see my oncologist, and there was a nurse in there with her. There was someone else in there with her. So when she told me in person, and I was kind of very shocked. The first question I asked her was, am I going to die? And when she said to me, this is very curable, we now need to just look at the options of what we can do for your treatment. And basically your life is going to be the hospital from now on for the next quite a while, basically. So I was assigned a nurse. I did cry then. I did say to her, can I just call my mother? My mum was out, so I couldn't speak to her. And I think that is what really upset me. That, you know, up to that point, I was still just talking to her. She was giving me lots of information, which was just going over my head because all I saw was cancer, surgery, medication. My life was going to be in hospital. When I couldn't get hold of my mum on the phone, that's when I just burst out crying, because it kind of, you know, I'd got this terrible news. I couldn't share it with my mum straight away. And I did actually apologize to my oncologist because I said, this must be absolutely awful for you having to give this information to women every day. And she beautifully said, there's two things, Gloria. The first one is crying makes me realize that you absolutely understand what I have said to you, and I am here for you. Now it's all about you. We are here now to get you better. And she was wonderful, my oncologist. My family, I dreaded telling my family because we are so close. And my poor mum, she was the one that I dreaded telling most because I knew that she would be so upset. And we both just cried on the phone when I told her that I had it. And I'll be honest now, I can't remember if she told my sisters or I told my sisters, but you know, it was a lot of crying and a lot of it was an emotional roller coaster. It was almost like an out of body experience. I couldn't believe I was going through this.
Yeah. So like, what treatment have you undergone?
Okay, so when I was first diagnosed, I was told that I would possibly need a lumpectomy. This was before she got my results back because it wasn't a very big amount of. So I had DIS, which is a ductal serochroma in situ. So I had two lots. I had a lump and I had the beginning of cancerous cells. Because they didn't think at that point there was that much, I was told that I would just need a lumpectomy. But every week I went in, it went from a lumpectomy to a skin sparing mastectomy, which meant I would still be able to keep my nipple and they would just be able to take away the lump in, you know, all of the breast tissue basically. And then by the third week, they realized that it was quite a big mass and it was really quite close to the nipple. So then they had to take my nipple as well. So I had a full on mastectomy. I made it very clear I didn't want to wake up flat on one side. So my oncologist said to me at this stage, then I think you need to just have an implant because if you need chemo or radiotherapy and we use your own skin, it will damage it and we won't have anywhere to go. So I had, so I had the surgery. And then I also, in the November, I started taking hormone replacement because my type of cancer was made by hormones, unfortunately. So I started taking letrozole, which I was on for 5 years. So it was mastectomy and hormone replacement at the first stage. And then I had to wait to find out if I needed radiotherapy or chemotherapy, depending if I had clear margins, and we were hoping that it obviously hadn't gone to my lymph nodes. So even after you've had surgery, you're still very much living in a kind of, you know, the fate is still in the gods because you're thinking, oh my gosh, please, I really hope they've caught all the cancer. I really hope I don't have to have radiotherapy or chemotherapy. And I think I had about a 6 to 8 week wait. In that time, I was going to see the doctor all the time for surgery checkups. And I was very pleased that I did not need chemo or radiotherapy, which was which was wonderful. So we are now in 2021. In 2020, the medication that I was on really does affect your bones. So I had to take anhydronic acid, which stops a bone reoccurrence, and it also helps strengthen your bones because of the medication that I'm taking.
Yeah. So did you, after that, did you went for chemotherapy or radiation therapy?
Sorry?
After that, did you opt for chemotherapy?
No, because I didn't need it. I mean, I literally, they had got all the cancer. They have to do tests, which took 6 to 8 weeks to come back. And it's a number, it's, you know, obviously very scientific, but in layman terms, if you have a number larger than, I think it was over 16, then you need chemotherapy. Mine came back exactly on 16. So chemotherapy would not have benefited me in any way whatsoever. So I didn't need it, and nor would radiotherapy. My best bet was to keep on the hormone replacement. They had got all the cancer out, what they could see. So this looked like it's working. Obviously, you are being checked on for 5 years, because obviously they make it very clear to you that your cancer, you can have a reoccurrence in those 5 years.
Yes, definitely. So, you know, during such times, difficult times, it's very important to have a strong and sound support system. So who was your support system along with the family?
Well, my family don't live in the area, so I was dealing, I have to say, it was very, very difficult for me. I was basically on my own. My mother came when I had my initial surgery, and she stayed with me for 2 weeks, which was wonderful. After that, I was basically on my own, but I had been given, when I was assigned my care nurse, I had been given lots of information and lots of support groups. So the hospital offered therapy where I could go and talk to a therapist. I definitely needed this. For me, cancer it's a very, very difficult situation, because you do feel very, very alone, even though you have your family and they can be very supportive. It's like one of those things, you need to have a few people around you that have been through the same thing, because they can understand the hardships, you know. But lots of people think once you have had your surgery, once you're on this, it's all over. Well, it's not, because even if you do not have chemo or radiotherapy, the medication that you are taking really, really does cause you to be living in pain and fear. So I found the Macmillan was wonderful here in London. I also found the Whittington Hospital had some lovely support groups. I also, Cancer Research UK have lots of support groups, and I also have a couple of support groups on Facebook, and I set up an account, the Cancer File, where I think you came across me, on Instagram. So I'm able to contact lots of people that are going through the same thing as me, things that I can't really talk about to my family because they just won't understand, and that has helped me immensely. But you know, I was diagnosed in 2018. If this had been 2019, I wouldn't be talking to you like I am now. I was still so broken. You know, as a woman, basically having to have your breast amputated, it is a really big deal, and still not knowing if you are going to die. So it is really important that you do get a build up of people that you can talk to and tell them things that you are not going to mention to your family. And these groups have all really helped me.
Yes. So like, what do people need to expect when they get this cancer type?
What do they expect? Well, I think there's a few things. Lots of people we all feel very, very differently. I know when I was diagnosed, I felt totally broken. I wasn't sure if I was going to survive this. But there is hope. You're going to have to allow yourself to feel broken, because basically you are for a while. You're literally in hospital. You are being prodded and poked. And when my oncologist said to me, your second home is going to be the hospital, that was very, very true. The care that I got, I do have to say, because I've had quite a few operations in my life for various things, this was the one where I really thought, wow, I really felt that they were really looking after me. Literally, they were testing for everything. So I think that you are going to feel that you are riding a tornado, because there is just so much going on. You are given all of the information, but don't expect to remember everything. That you will get booklets. You will have, the reason I called my Instagram site The Cancer File was because I had so many pieces of paperwork, so many hospital appointments. I had to buy a file to put it in. So, and I called it my cancer file. So I think even now talking about it, I'm still kind of like, I can't believe that this actually happened to me. I think you are just going to feel overwhelmed, if I had to put it into one word.
Yeah. So, during such times, often women prioritize other things rather than themselves. And it's very important to have regular self-examination checks at home. So what do you think is the importance of these self-examinations and why?
Okay, so early detection. I'm a campaign ambassador for Cancer Research UK, and early detection is the most important way to save your life. So I think what is really, really apparent, I'll be really honest, I did not check my breast before I got cancer. But what I actually have now really realized is that we as human beings, we form our habits very early in life. And we are not told till 40s, 50s to start examining our breast. Now, for me now, this is totally wrong. I now think as soon as a young girl, and unfortunately, it's very rare, but men also get breast cancer, we should be taught to self-examine. Because if you are doing it from that young age, you are going to be doing it all the time. And I've also realized that younger girls are more likely to die from this disease, A, because they're not listened to, and B, because they're not examining themselves, they're not taking any notice. So I think it's very, very important once a month. And again, on my Instagram account, that is what I do. Once a month, I feel on the first. It doesn't have to be the first, but you need to give yourself a date in the month, usually not around your cycle if you're having a cycle, and you need to get to know your breasts and know how they feel. And if there is any small change at all, you contact your GP. You do not wait, because sometimes it can be the size of a pea. But what we also have to realize is, by the time you have found a lump, you have been living with cancer for a while. So it's really important for you to, no matter what your age. So for me, it's kind of, as a young girl, my daughter was 15. The minute I was diagnosed, I was telling her monthly, make sure you check your breasts, please. It's really important. Get to know them.
Yeah. So, what all things helped you in your faster recovery?
Sorry, what things helped me in my recovery?
Yes.
Well, I personally feel rest was really important. Also finding a form of exercise that you really love, and it doesn't have to be anything. It can just be a little walk. You just need to be able to do something that you need to do something that you love. At the beginning, it's very, very difficult because you are so consumed with what's going on. So at that stage, I think having support groups are really, really good. Just being able to see other women that have gone through what you have gone through will make you feel better about this whole situation, because you're feeling very, very alone. Even if you have a big family around you, if you're going through this, you do feel very, very alone. So support groups, finding a little exercise, and find a little hobby that you really, really love, that you can do when you haven't got a lot of energy. And this can be anything from doing a little, I did a writing retreat not long ago, and this was great because you could just write down your feelings. Yeah, so it's finding something that makes you feel happy. But support groups, I think, are the most important thing. That when I realized that I wasn't the only person going through this and you're not alone, it's almost like it takes a weight off of your shoulders.
Yeah. So did you make any lifestyle changes during or after the treatment?
Not a lot, really. I mean, to be totally honest, it's not like I was eating too much sugar or I was overweight or I definitely had started doing a little bit more exercise. I mean, but my biggest life change, I would say, is that I'm not really drinking as much alcohol, but I think that's because I just haven't been going out as much, to be honest. So I'd say that is my biggest life change. I definitely have been eating more fruits and nuts. So I think I've definitely tried to be healthier, but I've also kind of think, you know what, I need to enjoy my life. And if I enjoy eating a bit of food, so everything in moderation, you know. So for me, I suppose if I had to say, it would be, you know, yes, I'm definitely looking at healthier options of eating, and I'm definitely trying to, you know, do a little bit more exercise, which is not always easy when you are recovering, and just because of the way different medications make you feel.
Absolutely. So like every crisis in life teaches you a particular lesson. So what life lessons has this cancer journey taught you?
Oh my gosh, it's taught me to enjoy your life, grab any opportunity by both hands, and really do what makes you happy. So I've started singing again, which I hadn't done for many years. And my way of keeping fit, I love ballet. I am really terrible at it, but I have found a few online classes, which I love. I'm really not feeling great, but I'm actually going to a ballet workshop tomorrow in person. I've got my tutu, and we're doing a tinsel and tutu little repertoire from the Nutcracker. So, you know, I don't think I ever, after before cancer, I would be like, oh my God, no, I'm going to look stupid. Now I literally don't care. Yeah, it's like, do you know what? When you think that you might die, you then realize, you know what? I really need to live, because I didn't.
Absolutely. Well said. So like, how is your life after cancer?
So at the moment, I am still dealing with the effects. So for me, I think even though I do not have any of the disease in me, I am still living with it, because I've only just had the phase 2 of my breast reconstruction in October. I'm still taking medications. So I'm still not 100%, but I am so much happy. I feel like I feel like the new improved Gloria, to be honest. I feel that it's just made me really realize that life is really, really precious, and you really, really do need to you really just need to do what makes you happy.
Yeah. So have you ever asked yourself this question, why me? If yes, then how you cope up with this thought?
No, I didn't ever ask why me, and I didn't get angry. I just got sad. I was just really sad. I was sad when I found out I had to lose a breast. I just think that things happen. You know, I've got cancer, but I might not have got cancer. I could have got another illness. I think now 1 in 2 people will get cancer in their life. So it's not a why me. If it was 1 in 50, then I might think why me. But I know people that are healthy, that have looked after themselves way better than I have in their lives, and they have still got some type of cancer. So I just don't think asking why me was ever part of my journey. Me being upset and not being able to deal with it sometimes was, but I didn't ever ask myself why me.
Yeah, gratitude seems to be the biggest strength to fight the situation. So what were
Yes.
you ever so grateful for that always made you calm down after thinking or revisiting that memory?
I personally felt that this was something that I needed to go through. My life up to the point of getting cancer was looking after my daughter, dealing with a broken relationship, dealing with my ex, and it was all about everybody else. And it was literally like, oh my God, now I've got to really look after me. I now have to be the important one. And I think that is what I have learned from this. I have to put myself first for the first time in a long time. In the last 20 years, it had always been about, kind of my daughter and everything. And I was broken. But I think this, for me, it was almost like, you need to rest. And this is what we're doing to make you take notice. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's why I never felt why is me. It's almost like I knew why this had happened.
Yeah. So what do you think are the stigmas attached to cancer and the importance of awareness for it?
Yes, there's always going to be stigma. I am usually a very private person, and even my family members couldn't believe when I was putting things up, when I set up this account. But for me, it was very, very important that I, for instance, would not, if other people had not helped in different ways and spoken about cancer, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here today with breast reconstruction or with some of the treatments that I had. So it is very, very, for anything to improve, we have to talk about it, and we have to make awareness and know that this is something. People can get cancer just like they can get a headache. When no one's ashamed of getting a headache. Well, why should you be ashamed of getting cancer, or why should there be any stigma in cancer? It's not something that you have caused yourself. Yes, there are things that, obviously if you smoke, you are more likely to get lung cancer, but we all know, I know many people now that have had lung cancer and never smoked in their life. Yeah. So, whilst we can, there are lots of diseases that we as humans can, be part of, making it ourselves. But then there are lots of people that get the same disease when they haven't been living a lifestyle which we would consider bad. So no, there shouldn't be any stigma, so people should be able to talk about it. And this is why I am, it's really funny. Another thing, maybe a few years ago, maybe if I was in my 20s, I might not have wanted to talk about it. Breast cancer, oh my God, I can't let anyone know. Now, I'm literally like, it's important.
Yes.
There is,
So,
but there shouldn't be.
yeah. So, what is that one message you would want to give to other caregivers and survivors?
Survivors, it's not always going to be easy. Life is something that we should cherish. So at the end of the day, if we are survivors, we are really, really lucky. So do you know what? Just realize it's not going to be easy. Sometimes it's going to be difficult. It's, we just have to realize that our life's going to be changed, because it's something you're never going to get over, but it does get easier. And as a carer, you're not going to understand everything that someone that you're looking after is going through, but to have sympathy, a kind word, is the best thing that you can do for them, and just be careful sometimes what you say. I think that's one of the most important thing. Just be kind.
Yes. So, what is an act of kindness you will never forget?
I will never forget the wonderful presents and gifts and kind messages I got from so many people. I mean, I was just blown away. I really, really was. I mean, my sister even said, and I'll never forget this, my sister said, only you can turn a cancer diagnosis into a Just Giving event. I mean, literally, that's what it was like. It was like Christmas. All these wonderful people. I realized how truly loved I was, actually. And that I'll never forget.
Yeah. So, like, how do you feel more positive?
Sorry?
How do you feel more positive?
It's very, very difficult. If you've got, I've always been a positive person. I'm always, the glass is half full, not half empty. I'm always optimistic. It's just the way I am. You cannot, if someone is not optimistic, you're not just going to be able to make them optimistic. You just can't. It's difficult. It's like you're trying to make someone change their personality, which they absolutely can't. All you can do is try and let them know things are going to get better. It's a mindset that you really have to have. As I am saying to you, I was diagnosed in 2018. It is now 2021. 2018, 19, even 20. I was not as optimistic as I am now, because, it does take its toll on you, because you are frightened as well of a reoccurrence in those first 5 years. So I've still got a couple of years left, actually. 18, yeah. You're still concerned, oh my gosh, is it going to come back? So it's hard. It's not easy.
Absolutely. So if you have to sum up your journey in one sentence, what would that be?
Life-changing, but for the better, once I came through the hardship.
Yes. So, at ZenOnco.io, we work towards the betterment of cancer patients through integrated oncology approach. So what are your thoughts on the same?
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah. At ZenOnco.io, we work towards the betterment of cancer patients through integrative oncology, where we not only help them with medical treatment, but also with complementary treatment approaches. So what are your thoughts on the same, on what we are doing in terms of patient care?
Well, that I think is really, really wonderful, because when you are going through a cancer diagnosis, your oncologist is very, very important. But there is a time where you do think, oh my God, this is all it's all medical. I now need maybe something that's a little bit different. So I think it's very important to be able to offer something that's a little bit different as well.
So, your story is really inspiring. And I hope this session really motivates people out there who are traveling or who have traveled to this journey. So it was lovely having you here today on the session with us, Gloria. So thank you so
Thank
much for your
you
time.
very much. Thank you for having me. And yeah, I hope everyone realizes that it's not easy, but we can get through it. There is lots of help out there as well, so you don't have to feel alone.
Yes, definitely.